Hey, what's going on, guys? My name's Parker, and welcome back to another episode of Parker's POV. Today we're taking a look at this truck camper, guys. 2025 Scout Olympic is finally here, and I'm excited to go over all the details with you. This one is going to be geared towards your full-size trucks, half tons like your F-150s, Tundras, 1500s out there, and you can also put it on a larger truck as well. Base weight on this unit here is 1,145 pounds. For those that aren't as educated when it comes to truck campers, that is nothing, guys. You can put this on a really small truck, which is awesome. That's what Scout's known for. This being a 2025, I'm going to go over kind of some of the newer features that are on the 2025s versus the 2024s, so stay tuned. All right, guys, so here it is, the 2025 Scout Olympic. If you're wondering what model I have next to it, that is the 2025 Scout Yoho. Just finished a video on that one, actually, so feel free to watch that one on my page as well. For those that are new, I like to start on the outside of the camper, work our way around, and then we'll end on the interior. So before we get started, as far as features and options, just know that Scout is one of those brands where you can really customize it to how you like it. If you go on their website, you can build and price one. And what's cool is every option you pick, at the bottom, it'll tally up not only the price, but also the weight. So if you're really trying to stay under a certain weight threshold, it'll basically calculate all of it for you, which is awesome. Now, the Olympic, like I said, this is geared towards your half-ton trucks or larger. Depending on your truck, if you have a long enough bed, you could actually shut the tailgate behind you with this model, which is really cool, especially if you want to use the backup camera on your truck. Now, up front here, you've got your bunk windows, so that's an option as well. So notice on this Yoho next to it, no windows. So that is an option. And they have a lot of functionality to them as well. They'll open, of course, and then they've got bug screens and sunshades built into them, which I'll show you a little bit more of that when we head inside. One of the cool things about Scout that sets them apart from its competitors out there is their exoskeleton structure. So you'll notice on all the edges and corners, that's where the main structure is. It's an aluminum extrusion that has an external seal, and really good about keeping water out of the camper, but provides a lot of structure and strength. The walls, the floor, the ceiling, everything's made of a composite substrate material coated in a gel coat for longevity, and it just looks nicer, gives it a little bit of a shine. Really, really well-built campers, guys. I've personally been to the factory, and I've seen how clean their facility is, and their attention to detail is unmatched. Now, we're going to start towards the front here and work our way towards the back. So let's start off with the jacks. This is going to use manual happy jacks. They do include a drill bit that hooks in here. I would bring a cordless drill with you so you don't have to hand crank these. It's a lot easier. But the cool thing about these jacks is they're removable. So you'll have a pin up top, a pin underneath. You just pop those out, and you can actually leave the jacks at home. The cool thing about that is that'll save you about 120-ish pounds that you no longer have to take with you if you don't intend to take the camper off on your trip. Now, this one is optioned with what they call their bilateral bed rail system. So it's essentially this black bar here. It's kind of more cosmetic, in my opinion. It kind of closes that awkward gap on the side of your truck. But it is functional. There's some holes here that are pre-drilled. If you wanted to mount stuff like maybe a high lift jack or max tracks, shovel, axes, that sort of thing. It's not designed to take a ton of weight, though. I think 50 pounds or so is the limit, so take it easy with that. Underneath the camper here, here's something cool about Scout as well. Because they're so lightweight, they just use ratchet straps to secure in the bed of the truck. That's going to save you a lot of money. And your truck most likely already has D-rings that these will hook into, so there's not a whole lot of setup involved with that. So really, really cool. That way you're not spending, you know, thousands on external frame-mounted tie-downs, which can be pretty costly, and turnbuckles and all that stuff. Now, your center of gravity is going to be located, or it's going to be labeled, I should say, on all the campers, and just make sure that that's either on or in front of your axle. That way the center of gravity isn't thrown off while hauling this camper. Another thing that I failed to mention in my Yoho video is Scout does recommend that you put a rubber mat under this. It's going to keep the camper from sliding or shifting around as you're driving. So anyway, let's hop towards the back here real fast. A couple more things I want to show you. This is where your drain plug is for the sink. So that just comes out right there. And then underneath on the rear, you're going to have a 7-way plug. So you'll want to use a male-to-male 7-way cable, and that's what's going to allow you to charge your battery system while you're driving. And this does have a solar plug as well if you wanted to use a briefcase-style solar panel on this unit. Nice large acrylic dual-pane windows, really good at insulating, and they just look nice, and they're very durable as well. All right, let's head towards the front again. Now, before I get all the way up front, I do want to mention something that I thought was pretty cool when I went to their factories. They mentioned that from the corner back here on the camper, wrapping all the way around the front of the camper and all the way to the back corner, that piece is all one piece. There is no seam anywhere. So when it comes to campers, trailers, doesn't matter. Seams are what kill campers. Water intrusion is what kills campers. So really cool that there's no seams there. It is their patented design. Now this one does have a 190 watt Renogy solar panel. It's a flexible panel mounted right up top here. That is standard on the Olympic. All right, now coming around to this side of the camper, here's another look at your jacks, of course. Now this is where you have all the goodies, right? So you have this compartment here, which is for your propane. Now notice you get one propane tank. I believe it's a 10-pounder if I'm not mistaken, but it is pre-plumbed for a second tank. And then they also give you a quick connect here if you wanted to bring like an outdoor stove or cooktop and hook straight into that. So pretty cool. The Yoho that I did a review on just recently only has room for one tank. So cool to see that you can add a second on this one. Alrighty. You do get a storage compartment on this side as well. Not the deepest compartment in the world, but pretty good storage for like chairs or something like that. And it is lockable. And then here's another option from the factory. This is their Kamek awning. This is a freestanding awning. It is super easy to bring in and out. You basically have these two pull tabs here. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do all this one-handed, but anyway, pop these two tabs, unlock it here, and this thing just pulls out, and it pulls out a good ways. And for those wondering why it's mounted low like this, it's because when it's on your truck, it sits about the perfect height, so you can still reach it. Now the other option would be you can get their universal awning brackets that are mounted up higher. They are harder to reach when it's on a truck, but it would open up more options as far as aftermarket awnings go. So if you wanted like a 180-degree awning or maybe a 270 that wraps around the back, it opens a little bit more options. So yeah, underneath here, I'll show you real quick. That is your tag for the camper. So you can see this one has a weight of 1171, and that's when it contains standard equipment, so water and propane. So very, very lightweight camper. Leaves a lot of room for all the other gear you bring with you. Here's another option. This is their diesel heater. So that's just mounted on the back in this stainless steel looking box. It's got a 2.75 gallon tank here. And then your heater is located, of course, just above that. They went away from the propane heaters. I'm guessing probably because of the condensation that those put off compared to a diesel heater. These put off more of a dry heat. Full-size door on the back, which I appreciate being 6'1" tall. Now this is also an option. This is their I think it's a 2-gallon. Yeah, 2-gallon Rotopacks. This is just a water jerry can, I guess you could call it, that just mounts on the back. So it just gives you a little bit more water capacity to bring with you. And then up top, we'll have a universal bracket that is designed for multiple reasons, I guess. So you have a hole here, that's pre-drilled for a license plate if your state requires it. You'll have some hooks here for hanging stuff like jackets, or maybe something got wet and you want to hang it outside of the camper. And then you have a door stop up here as well. And that hook up top is, I like to use it, or I've seen people use it with like a 270-degree awning. They'll hook the awning onto that. And then the other thing that that bracket does is it allows you to take your jerry can from inside, which I'll show you here in a bit, and put it outside and use it as like an outdoor shower to spray things off. So really, really cool. I'm going to go ahead and throw in a clip of the roof for those curious of what that looks like. Not a whole lot going on up there. You'll notice that there's very few holes and things drilled in this camper, which makes it that much more watertight. And then, yeah, we'll go ahead and hop inside the camper. We'll go over some of the changes for 2025. All right, so before we hop in the camper real quick, you do get a pretty good sized window on the back door here as standard, and then you'll get this nice privacy shade as well. Now's a good time to mention that there are 3 different color options for 2025. So this is their stone gray interior, which you'll see the upholstery in here matches. They also have a canyon and a sage color that are a little bit of an upcharge, but they're a very soft material, and I think they look quite good. But the stone gray also looks good if you don't want to pay extra for that, of course. Now, as you hop in, you'll have your fire extinguisher next to the door here. Pretty standard Scout branding here as well. And then the floor mats in this unit are actually removable. They're marine grade floor mats, so they are definitely built to last. But yeah, if you ever just want to pull those out and spray them off or mop them or whatever you do, I guess you can. This one does have the Dometic cassette toilet option in it. And then check out all these cubbies everywhere. They're really good about utilizing the space, so you can kick your shoes off or use those for storage or what have you. So as we hop into the camper here, go ahead and shut the door so we have a little bit better lighting in here. Here's your kitchen space. So this has the optional 4.9 gallon Lifesaver jerry can. The cool thing about this unit here is you can hand pump it and pressurize it if you need to use it to like spray off dishes or rinse off your hands sort of thing. There is a built-in filter as well. So you could theoretically fill it up with river water or lake water and drink out of it if you really wanted to. So pretty cool. And then the sink. So here's one of the first changes for 2025. They made the sink bigger and it can actually fit dishes. So the 2024s have a much smaller sink, and that was one of the #1 complaints from the customers. This also has the Dometic 2-burner stove here. This is just strapped to the top of your countertop here. However, you can remove this and take it outside if you wanted to do some cooking outside. Underneath here, you'll have a pretty generous sized cubby for putting more storage, of course. And then I want to take a second and talk about these windows. So these windows have a lot of different functionality to them, as I mentioned earlier. So right now I have the privacy shade down, but if I want to open this up, I just unclip it on both sides. Let's see if I can do this all one-handed. So that just pops up. Now your window's exposed. You can pop these 4 latches here, just like that, and that'll open up. It has a couple different settings where it'll lock and stay open. Go ahead and shut that so I can show you the bug screen. So the bug screen is also built into that same mechanism. You can pull that up, now you got a bug screen. So really, really cool windows on this thing. Here's another upgrade for 2025. They went to a much bigger, fantastic fan. The ones that they were using before were just these little tiny 12-volt fans that sat here above the kitchen. They just didn't move a whole lot of air through this unit. So really awesome upgrade for 2025, especially considering these do not have air conditioners. So this will move a ton of air through this unit. Now, the Olympic has a little bit different of a layout comparing it to that Yoho that I just recently did a review on. So your dinette is more east to west facing, but pretty cool. You could probably fit 4 people at this dinette if you really wanted to. And then the table, you basically just pull this little tab here, and the table will kind of pivot, or I don't know the right word, but it'll fold down like that. And then you take your cushions, move them to the middle, and that becomes a pretty good sized bed. I'll go ahead and throw a picture in here of what that looks like. All right, so now we're going to pan the camera this way and talk about a couple things on this side of the camper. So this is where you're going to have your exhaust for the furnace to heat this place up. You've got your intake there, and then that is your thermostat which I don't currently have on, but that's what's going to control that furnace. So pretty cool. And then this is the Dometic 12-volt refrigerator option that you can get from the factory. It's got 2 compartments. So you could use one as a freezer, one as a fridge, or you could use them both as a fridge, both as a freezer. So there's lots of ways to use it. They're pretty efficient, and all of that will be powered by the all-new power system that they're doing in the 2025. So let me see if I can get a good angle on this for you guys. So down here, this is what they're advertising as their new Unbound Power Tower, I think is what they're calling it. But they're going away with the Yeti Goal Zero system and going to this system here. The cool thing about this system is it's powered by Victron and lithium batteries. The battery is actually located in this compartment down here. So it's a 12.8 volt, 132 amp hour Expion heated battery, heated lithium battery, I should say. And what's cool is it's expandable. So if you wanted to add a second battery, there's another compartment just over here. And according to Scout, if you add a second battery like that one, it's going to give you more power than the Yeti Goal Zero 3000 gave you. There is an option as well to put a 500 watt inverter in here if you wanted to charge anything that used a little bit more power. So really, really cool update. Now, something I failed to mention as we first entered, another change for 2025 are these lights. So these LED lights used to be a really bright white color in the 2024s and all the predecessors. But now they've changed to this warm, kind of soft LED light that a little bit easier on the eyes. I think it's a really nice, subtle upgrade that some of you might not notice, but I like it. And then this one does have the storage bags here on both the driver and passenger side, which are just held by these carabiners. Something that they did change also for 25 is these no longer hang as low. So they're a little bit higher to the ceiling so that they don't move as much while you're driving, which is pretty cool. Now, let's get to the, in my opinion, best change for 2025, and that is the Portaledge bunk extension. So before, they had 2 separate pull-out trays on both sides that you'd pull out. Then you had to hook a strap to both sides and then hook it to the ceiling brackets. And then you had your 2 little cushions, but it was only for each side. So you kind of missed out on a good opportunity like this one has, where you can turn that into a mega bed essentially. Super easy. This whole thing just pulls right out, and once it locks in place, you've got your 2 cushions that just sit on top, and it turns this thing into a massive, massive bed, which is way better than the old design. So that's probably my favorite change for 2025, and in my opinion, maybe makes it worth it going with a new one over maybe an older 23 or 24 model. But yeah, the other thing I wanted to mention is the skylight hasn't changed much, but it's kind of funny how many people don't know that the skylight actually has a blackout screen built into it. And then it also has a bug screen, just like all your windows. Now this skylight does open up, as you can see. So on this model and the bigger brother, the Kenai, there is an option to get a rooftop tent installed on the roof, and that skylight is how you access that tent. You can crawl up through, or you can use the ladder on the side, but this option is way cooler. So that is also an option. We don't have that on this particular model. These ones that I have in stock currently are just display models. But yeah, hopefully that covers just about everything on this unit. I know I didn't cover everything, so if there's something I missed or a question you may have, feel free to leave a comment down below. I'm really good about reading and responding to those. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys.